Hello and welcome to Zen and the Art of the Guardian Sudoku for Sunday, the 10th of January. And since it's a Sunday, of course, there's no Guardian published, but we do have the Observer today. Unfortunately, the Observer doesn't often give the level, doesn't mention what level Sudoku puzzle this is. So I have absolutely no idea if this is going to be a real doddle or a real humdinger. I have absolutely no idea. So the best thing to do is just to get on with it, I guess. Anything happening in the news today? Not too much. Still the aftermath of Donald Trump and clan being kicked off of Twitter and other pages like that. There's been some kind of terrible plane crash in Indonesia, but I don't really know the details yet. And Queen Elizabeth has had her vaccine, so she's clearly not an anti-vaxxer, one of those illogical idiots who are opposed to just about everything in modern life. Okay, let's get down to our Sudoku puzzle now. This is more enthralling for us. I can see a few sevens dotting around, so I'm just gonna. I don't think this is an easy level puzzle. But in case it is, and I decide to mark it as such, I'll just quickly go through the rules in case you're not sure. It's like this. This kind of, okay, we have a large grid, which is filled by 9 regions, segments if you like, and each of those is filled with 9 squares, so you can see 9 is a lucky number. There are 9 squares in a column and 9 squares in a row, and the numbers 1 to 9 appear once in all of the previously mentioned shapes. There we are. So without further ado, I can see some sevens. These sevens are attracting me. I don't know why. They just, maybe the page is quite easy. I don't know. Let's see if there's anything. Down here I can see a 7 going across this row here, and a 7 across the central row, and a 7 down in this column. So that leaves only this square here. If my neighbors would be quiet for a moment. I can see this 7 has to fit here. That means there's going to be a couple of 7s up here. Okay, so also I can... Oh no, that's not true. Okay, what else is looking nice and easy? Anything 6s I can see. 6s along the first column here, and the third column here, and across this row here, leaving only this central square here for a 6. 6s come down here in this column here, this final column, and across this row here, leaving only these 2 locations. And if we go back up again, if we extend up the column, so we have 6 up this column, and we have 6s in either of these 2 squares, and not in anywhere else along this column, and we have a 6 blocking this square here, therefore that has to be a 6. I hope if you're a beginner at this, I hope you manage to follow that. If not, maybe rewind it and check it again. Okay, 3s, I can see 3s across this row here, and 3s across this row here, and there's a nice 3 coming down this column, extending down this column. So that clearly has to be a 3. So you can see that what I'm doing is filling in the easy numbers first. Anything that's really easy to see, easy to find, those are the numbers that we will fill in first, so we can reduce the number of free spaces, and that will make it easier as we go along. There are more aspects to this game, but we'll see those a bit later. I suspect this is a hard level 1. It's just a guess, but I suspect that it is. Okay. Not many 5s, 4s are. Yeah, I do think this is going to be a harder level 1. Just looking kind of overall. Okay, I see there's a 2 in this column here, a 2 in this column here, and a 2 going across this row. So that has to be 2 here. Anything there? nothing useful there. 7s, oh, I was mentioning the 7s before. 7s across here, 7s across here. I think I should have picked that one up before. Okay, now here's a nice thing to consider. So if we understand that 7s are blocking this square here, and this square here, and this square here, and this square here, then in this row there's only one possible place a 7 can go, right? 7's not here, 7's not here, or here, or here. So that's the only possible place a 7 can fit. A bit more. Okay, I can see that a 9 has to go here, but you might be wondering why. So I'll try to take you through my thought process. Okay, so first of all, we can see a 9 going up this column and a 9 coming down this column. So there are only two possible locations for a 9, right? If we extend this 9 over here, we know that there can't possibly be a 9 in the middle, but this row is already blocked, and therefore a 9 is going to appear here. In fact, we can see it's either got to be this square or this square because it's a 9 blocking. And I'm just going to put those two numbers in right now as candidates. I'm going to do that now, actually, even though I don't really need to see. But then I can extend that across and see that 9 can't go here. So just to recap, 9 is not here, 9 is not here, 9 is not here. So the only remaining square is here. Now actually, when you've practiced a while, you can do that kind of forward-looking stuff, a bit like chess. You can look ahead to stuff without needing to fill in these kind of numbers. That's my experience anyway. Okay. I do think this is going to be quite a tricky one, actually. We might need some advanced level techniques later on. Certainly possible. Oh, hold on a second. Similar to that 9 I just did, okay? If you consider that 5 runs up this column here, and 5 runs across this row here, up here is blocked, means that 5 is going to appear somewhere along here. In fact, we can see, blocked by this number, it's going to be here. I'll put it in just to make it a little easier, although I don't really need to at this stage. But you can see 5's blocked here, so 5's. And now if we look back at this central part, we can see 5 coming up this column, 5 going down this row, down this column, sorry, and 5 across this row here. So that's the only possible location for a 5. Okay. 6 there. I must admit, I thought I'd seen something before, but had not. Okay, I'm going to go around the board filling in some pairs. Now, I know some people will advise you just to maybe concentrate on one segment and just fill in all the possible candidates in that area. But for me, that's not the best way of doing it. For me, it's much better to go around and look for easy pairs first of all, because sometimes you find some exclusive pairs, and when you find that, you'll notice that it just means that you end up filling in fewer candidates, and that's what we really want to do. Fill in as few as possible candidates, because we've worked out other problems first. So there's no 9 down here, there's no 9 across here, so there are only 2 possible locations where 9 can go. I write my candidate in the top left of the square if it's a pair only. In other words, it has to be a 9 or a 9 there within this segment, within this region. And so likewise, I'm going to have 9 and 9 here, because there's no 9 across there, and there's no 9 across here, so that's a 9 and that's a 9. and this 9 is blocking this row here, so there are 2 possible locations for 9 here. That's there and there. Oh no, of course not, because look, I'd missed this 9 here, so in fact I can remove that already and fill in that 9. That's my mistake, but not a fatal mistake. And so now if we extend down, we realize that this 9 is not possible now because we have a 9 in this column. That has to be 9. Let's just remove that candidate that we filled in. Always remember to remove candidates. Okay, so these 9s are not affected, though we can't really do very much with that. Let's keep casting our eyes around the board, I think. Okay. So I see that 6 goes across this row here, 6 goes across this row here, 6 goes across this row here. So not 6, not 6, not 6. But this column is lacking a 6, and so fortunately for us, we know that 6 goes there. If we continue on with our 6s, we can see down this column and down this column and not across here. And so we can find a 6 like that. We could also find it this way from the 6 that we just filled in. It's not here, it's not here, and it's not there. So it's there's often more than one way to find the number. Threes. Okay. Oh no, sorry. I apologize. Jumped too quickly. 4 and 8 is missing. Okay. Never jump without double checking. Numbers that are really lacking here are 1s. I can see a pair of 1s here and here, but across the board 1, 4 and 8 are really quite difficult numbers. There is a 1, a 4 and 8 in this region, but there's only a 1 here, and that's about it. 4s and 8s are just lacking everywhere. And for example, this is going to be 1, 4 and 8 also. But hold on, let's see if we can do anything about this. Make it slightly easier. We can see a 1 down here, and we can see a 1 down here, like so. And of course we need a 1 in this row here, and so there's only 1 remaining square. So fortunately that made it slightly easier. Much easier in fact, because now this 1 runs up this column and can't be here. So there's only 1 possible location for 1, and that rules out that one there, leaving that as our only possible location for 1 in this segment. And then let's bring that down. Okay, that turned out to be much easier than I thought. I thought it was going to be really tough. That's nice too, because now we can see that there's no 1 in this row, there's no 1 in this row allowed. That means there are only 2 possible locations, a 1 and a 1. And that's great, because if we see it has to be a pair of 9s and it has to be a pair of 1s, we know that no other number is possible here. So the other missing numbers like 4, 5 and 8 can't go in this square or this square. It's exclusively 9 or a 1. And so that means let's continue along in this region as well. So I can see 5 going up here, 5 here, 5 down. In fact, we could have got this from the start before we filled in any numbers, but I hadn't seen it. So there has to be a 5 here, because 5 is excluded from these numbers. And so the 2 missing numbers are 4 and 8. Okay, I don't think there's going to be much help on that, so I'm going to write them in now. 4 and 8. We might need them. We need to know about them later. Actually, I've seen something else. Right, okay. If we look at this column here, 1, 2, 3, no 4, 5, 6, 7, no 8, 9. So what are the missing numbers in this column here? They have to be 4 and 8. There are 2 numbers missing. So this is going to be 4 or 8, and this is going to be 4 or 8. So if we look along here, we know that that has to be 4 or 8. That has to be 4 or 8. So whatever number is missing from this row, we can find out here. We know what this number is because we understand that that has to be a 4 or an 8, right? So what's missing? 1. We've got 2. Do we have a 2? No, we don't have a 2. In fact, we could have found it like this as well. 2's going up here, 2's going across here and across here. We could have found it that way also. So, you know, don't forget many ways to find your numbers. In fact, it's going to be 4 and 8, and this is also going to be a 4 or an 8. Okay, and we know this is going to be a 4 or 8 as well, both of them. Has to be, because we have 9, 1 here, it's 4, 8, that has to be 4, 8. Nothing is blocking anything else here. Going across here, going across here, a lot of 4, 8s. So as I mentioned, there are not. This is the only 4 and 8 here, and so that is going to be quite a difficult number for us to see. But anyway, first thing we do notice now is that because we have 8 as a pair here, an exclusive pair, it can't appear here or here, right? But 8s we do have in this column. This is the only place we have 8s from the beginning, and so because we have these 8s down this column here and 8s coming up here, that's the only possible location for an 8. And we know that that was a pair. Originally that was a pair of 5s, so we know that we can fill in this 5 now. Okay, the two missing numbers from this column are 3 and 5. 1, 2, 3 we don't have, 5 we don't have. So I'll put that pair of numbers in now. That's 3 and 5, 3 and 5, like so. And we can know these numbers because we have all of the others. So the missing numbers are 2 and 7. Now, is anything blocking 2 or 7? Yes. So we know that, okay, we have 1, we don't have 2. We have 3, 4, 5, we have 6, we don't have 7. So, but 7 is up here, blocking this column here. So 7 has to appear here, and 2 has to appear here. And so if we think that down several ways, look, 2 is blocking here, so that has to be a 2. But you could also work out the missing number, considering we know this is a 4 or an 8 here. What are the missing numbers in this segment now? 1, 2, we have 3 and 4 are missing. 3 and 4. Is there anything here telling us that it can't be 3 or 4? Well, no, but think about this. 3 is clearly not here, but 3 is also not allowed in this square or this square, right? Do you see that? Can't be 3. These numbers are filled in, but because 3 is in this segment, it can't be here or here. So for this row to make sense, the 3 will have to go here, and that means the 4 must go there. And if we extend that 4 along, because we can see that there's a nice square by itself here, if we extend that 4 along, we know that 4 has to go here, like so, and that means we can start moving down and getting rid of these 4s and 8s along here. That can't be a 4, it has to be an 8. That can't be an 8, it has to be a 4. Let's move across. That's an 8, that's a 4, that's a 4 there, and that's an 8 there. So one number, just getting in that number there, enabled us to finalize those pairs, those 4s and 8s. Okay, I can see there's one number missing from this row, so we must be able to work out what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is missing. We can fill that in now. 8s, let's extend those up. 8s up this column, and across this row. That's the only possible place for an 8. If we look in this square, in this segment, we can see 8s across, 8s across. That means 8s have to go here or here. Also 8s are up here like this. So this has to be an 8 or an 8. Actually 8s are also here and here. I'll just fill that in for now. But we can know this number because we have again our pair of 9 and 8, and it can't be anything else. So 1, 2, 3 is the next number it's missing, and in fact you could see it like this. If you look across the rows, 3 is missing here. Okay. Right, we're coming along nicely, I think. Because we have a pair here, we must know this number. you see everything else is done? We know that this is either 9 or 8. We don't know which way round yet. So 1, 2 we don't have, so 2 is the missing number that goes in there. And if we want to double check it, 2, 2, 2 across. Okay, yeah. So what are the missing numbers now? 1, 2, 3 in this central area. 4 and 6 are missing. We don't have 4, we don't have 6. 4 is blocking this here, so 4 must come here and 6 must come here. If you want to just check along, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Make sure we haven't made mistakes. That's looking good. Okay, this is turning out to be quite satisfying, I think. Looked a bit tricky at the beginning. Okay, this is clearly a 1. That's the only number missing from this column. And we can find out the missing number here. 1, 2, 3. Do we have a 4? No, we don't have a 4. Let's just double check. 4s. Okay, so that has to be a 4. We know, we can see, if we look across, we can see 4s going across here, 4s going across here. We know that one or that one is a 4, so we have a pair, but actually we have a 4 already filling that in. And so we understand 4's not here, not here, not here. That's a 4. That's the 8, but let's keep going in this. As we've just done this 8, we know that that can't be 8. That's 8. That's 9. And let's extend that down. Our 9 must be here. Our 1 must be here. Let's look at the 1's. 1's coming up here. 1's going across there. That's our 1. We can see 2 numbers missing here, but we know this is a 3 or a 5. So this would have to be a 3 or a 5 also, right? If there are only 2 squares, there are only 2 numbers available. So this has got to be a 3 or a 5. We can double check. 1, 2, 3, no. 4, yes. 5, no. 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. But we can see that there's already a 3 in this column here, right? So that excludes 3. So 3 is going to have to be here, and 5 is going to have to be here. Simple matter of logic. 5 is here now. 1, 2, 3 is the missing number from this row. That's what goes in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the missing number. Let's double check. 6, 6. Any 6s? Okay, 6. There are only 2 numbers to get. You can see very easily what they are. I hope 1, 2, 3 is missing and 7 is missing. Let's look up the columns. 3 can't come here, as we noted before. 3 goes there. 7 goes there. You can double check the numbers if you like. I would guess that's a medium to hard level, something like that. Maybe a medium level. That's my own idea. The observer doesn't mention the level at the beginning, but I'd say it's a medium, somewhere between a medium and what they classify, the Guardian classifies as a hard level, not expert and not beginner. So that's it for today. Thank you. Back to weekday tomorrow, but in COVID, if you're unemployed, every day seems to be the same. Weekend, weekday, day in, day out. Never mind. See you again on Monday. Bye for now.